Greetings, dear friends, fellow programmers, and those aspiring to be. Welcome back to Marco Coding Academy. I have a question for you. Did you know that about 90% of all software launches fails because of lack of marketing skills and proper marketing of the product? Shocking, right? Well, today, in this video, I will share my personal experiences from launching quite a few of my personal projects. Of course, some of them successful, some of them less successful, and some of them completely unsuccessful. And I will do my best to share all the lessons I've learned along those years of hard work and investment of my time and efforts and money into building projects and pushing them to the public. Trust me when I say this, building a good product is only the tip of the iceberg. The real struggle, at least for me, was how to figure out a way how to market that product and how to share it with as many people as possible. Marketing, in my personal experience, was one of the biggest misconceptions I had in my head while I was getting started as an entrepreneur. And that is because I thought that the main struggle was to think of a new innovative idea that you can build and then to build it. And then if it is a good product, it will find its way to its audience. But in reality, that is so far away from truth. You have to do so much heavy lifting once you are done building a product to put it in front of public that is interested in it that I cannot even start explaining. So in this video, we will be talking about things you should have in mind and be very careful about if you want your product not to fail as miserably as some of my personal projects have in the past. Because after building a few of my personal projects, I figured out that I was doing something very wrong. And I figured out that building the product was not such a terrible thing. It was okay, you learn a few things, you stumble upon a few dead ends, you learn, you pivot, and then you make your product and bring it to production. But then is the moment when you have to put your grown-up pants on and do the actual problematic part, at least for me. I'm sure that there is a marketer or salesperson out there who's like, yeah, selling is easy, you just need to build the product. Well, for me personally, as a software developer, building it was way more difficult than actually finding audience for the project. But I do not want you to worry, because one of the main goals of me starting this channel was to share my experiences as an entrepreneur, not only as a developer. That is because I found that there are so many YouTube channels dedicated to programming, but there are practically none that cover both programming and building the product and also sharing the insights into the entire lifespan of a single successful product that is on the internet. So here we are. I'm getting started with sharing experiences that I have dedicated to building a successful product and then finding its audience. So the first thing you need to do is understand your market. So while we're talking about understanding the market, there are certain questions that you need to ask yourself before getting started even with your product building process. So first question is going to be, who are the people who are my main audience? Then we need to think about problems that our application or a product is going to solve for them. And finally, are we going to be able to get paid for providing those services? And to answer those questions, you need to do market research, of course. But thankfully, there are quite a few tools out there that allow you to do that process with investing too much efforts. You can do it. You can figure out how big is your potential audience, what is their general age, gender, preferences, educational status, and things of those sorts. And it is essential to know those things so you would know how to position and market your product. One of the easiest ways to do this without going into so much detail as I just mentioned is to do an SEO research, which means you will find competitors of your product and then see how big audiences they have, how much stuff they're selling, what are the potential drawbacks that their product has when compared to yours, and what are the drawbacks of their marketing that you can improve upon. And of course, once you know all of that, you are ready to roll out and present the world with your product. Which leads us to our next point, which is going to be product positioning. What you need to do here is be extremely clear about the goal of your product, what problems it solves for its customers, what is the beneficial part when compared to other competitors, because usually you will have competitors in whatever area of the market. And what this means is basically, is your product faster, cheaper, better looking, more quality oriented, easier to use, or whatever it is, you need to be 100% clear what takes you apart from the rest of the people in that niche. And when you do this, you need to be able to explain why your product is an amazing product for customers within a single sentence. This is so crucial because people usually do not care about new stuff until you got their attention. And to get their attention, you need a hook. You need something that is going to grab their attention and make them say, "Whoa, that sounds interesting. I want to hear more about it." And then you can proceed and bombard them with a lot of information about what makes your product so great. I've been in situation countless times where I was trying to explain to people why my product was so great because I was so excited about it, because I knew it was so amazing and so much better than all the competitors, but it was just wrong to do it that way because people were overwhelmed or they would not care enough to listen to what I was saying. So basically, I needed to learn the hard way that the most important aspect is to have a single sentence that is going to be so catchy, so intriguing, and so attention-grabbing for other people that they will gain interest to hear the rest of the story. And of course, it's always preferable to have concrete benefits once you get started with explaining the details. So you want to have statistics, you want to have all the benefits in percentages, numbers, I don't know, number of reduced people, or the percentage of disposed materials, or the increase in earnings, or anything like that. But you definitely do want to do your studies and be able to provide answers to all of those questions, because serious companies will be interested in hearing those numbers. The next point is going to be dedicated to building your online presence. Nowadays, my friend, if you want to evade having your online presence, you are doomed. You will reduce the number of potential customers significantly. You always want to have a website, social media accounts, or whatever kind of presence you can pull out to be present on the internet as much as possible. So this is another situation where I had to learn the hard way. Basically, I personally do not like social media. I do not use it, I do not like it, I hate spending time on it. I hate posting pictures, I do not like the entire process. But that made my projects fail before. So once I figured out that I have to create online presence for my projects, I started hiring people once I grew enough and had enough earnings to be able to pay for other people to build those online presences and social media for me. Of course, in the beginning, I was doing it even though I did not like it. But then as soon as I got enough money to pay somebody, I was like, this is the best money spent ever. So I spent money on hiring people who were going to do my social media presence for my personal projects. And I have to say, the differences were substantial. So what I'm talking here about is basically something that Tim Ferriss already said in his 4-Hour Workweek book, where he explained that whenever you are earning more per hour than what you need to pay somebody else for, it is beneficial usually to do it and hire another person who is going to do some stuff for you and to allow you to do some higher paying stuff instead and earn more money and pay that person still, but earn even more money because you no longer have to spend time on things you are not as proficient at or are less intense or require less knowledge to do. So that's exactly what I did when it came to social media. And of course, this is completely subjective. I just shared my personal story. Maybe you hate building websites, and you can hire as many people as you like to build you a website. It's no problem. After all, you can hire me to build your website. Just kidding. Or maybe you can learn to build your personal website on my YouTube channel and then build it yourself. And now we come to our fourth point, which is content creation and marketing. Here, basically, the most important sentence is content is king. So if you want your presence to be amazing and attract many customers, you want to create quality content that resonates well with your brand and with people you want to attract to your product. And then it doesn't matter whether it's going to be blog posts, webinars, tutorials, Instagram posts, or whatever it is. You just want to figure out what works best for you and then do your best to improve on that and make it as solid as possible. And in this area, I needed help as well, because I got to a point where I had so many personal projects and so little free time that I really struggled to post anything. So, as I mentioned, I hired people to lead my social media, but also I started using AI to generate images, generate video ideas, generate post ideas, and overall make my life a lot easier and make it possible to create so much stuff within the limited amount of time. Now it all feels possible. It's like Christmas morning. Then we have community building. Because if you want to make a true brand, it's not enough to just have online presence. You want people to connect with you. You want to attract people who share your ethics or your interests or whatever it is you believe in, and you want to attract them to connect with you and feel like a part of your team, your family of sorts. And that way you will create a true, long-lasting relationship with your customers. And that is so important because nowadays people are so far away from each other. People tend to struggle to make meaningful relationships. So building a strong relationship with a brand is really important. And there are quite a few ways you can do this. You can create content that is going to resonate with them. You can create closed groups where you can communicate with those people. You can create live events where you can talk with them or they can ask questions. But options are basically limitless, but it's just important to have this in mind because it's very important to do it. Of course, if you want to build a strong brand and strong relationship with your customers. And then we are reaching our point number 6, which is going to be overcoming obstacles. So nothing in life is perfect, as you already are probably familiar with. And it is basically exactly the same with building your own product and a brand. When I was getting started with building my personal projects, I knew that I had no money to market the product. I knew I was not able to hire other people. So what was the easiest thing for me to do was to get a lot of knowledge about ways to make my website attract people organically. So what I did, I learned a lot of strategies that taught me how to rank my website high on Google, Bing, and other search engines, and that way get free audience. So what this meant was I had to put a lot of effort that my platforms were very high performing. They were using all the best practices defined by search engines, and also I had to learn about SEO, because that way I was able to write content which ranked on Google and attracted audience automatically for me without paying anyone anything. So that sounded like a very sweet deal to me, and it is still to this day the best way I would recommend somebody who doesn't have enough funds to start marketing the product and paying to reach as many people as possible, but to do it in this fashion and do it for practically free, just your own free time and energy. Also, of course, you need to be very careful and track your competition so your product is always competitive and has the edge over competitors. So those are the things I think are essential if you want to build a strong product that is going to be reaching to many people and building strong relationships with them, so that way they will stick around with you and not look for other options, so to say. And of course, you want to provide them with a real quality experience so they do not feel cheated or like they are overpaying for your services. My personal approach was always to try to over-deliver and do more for less than other way around, because satisfied customers are for me what I have to deliver and have to get. Otherwise, I do not feel okay about my projects. In summary, marketing is a backbone of every successful product out there. There are so few products that manage to market themselves, and you need so much luck to create a product like that nowadays, because the saturation of the market is so high that it's basically impossible to do it. You need to invest your time and efforts to market the product and reach to your audience. Remember, a well-planned marketing strategy is what is going to pull you apart from the rest of the bunch and will make you stand out in a very competitive market. And now that you learned all of these things, I would like to invite you to browse through my channel, see if you find anything else that sparks your interest and expand your knowledge even further. And also, if you enjoyed this video, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. Until the next video, thank you for watching and have an amazing day. Happy coding!